What? Really? Someone had to die. I hate communists. I despise them. All the officers were Russians. 80 people tormented him for 3 months. He just snatched a fragment and hit a man. No one expected such a... As for the army in general, the goal of the army was indeed such that we fought for something, for communism, socialism. We were supposed to spread these ideas worldwide, in Europe, America, and so on. We had to be ready for that. Looking back now from the perspective of the years lived, turning to the Soviet Union, I think the army wanted to mold a true man and such. But in reality, it was necessary to prepare a person who could do everything the Communist Party said. That's it. And for that, you just had to strip away all the human aspects entirely. But you shouldn't eat. If there was an opportunity not to eat, at least for some time, so that all this for you. You're a soldier, you're a war machine, you must close your eyes to everything. You must be, personality, subjectivity of a person, I think. Remove it altogether, transform it. Even what they put on you and cut off, and you won't recognize anyone at all. They completely depersonalized you, absolutely. You'll never recognize anyone just by appearance. You only recognized each other by the way you walked. That's it. In the face, you won't even understand who is where, whose is who, all looks the same. Additionally, adding to everything, there is the entire ideological preparation of the soldier, specifically ideological communist socialist. I hate communists. I hate them with all their propagandists, with all their KGB agents. As much as I've talked to them, as much as they've talked to me, as many unpleasant conversations I've had with the special department, I simply hate them. The constant broadcasts on TV with "I serve the Soviet Union" are the only programs you had to watch. Just one television about this size, 59 inches diagonal, probably sitting on stools, 100 people watching. It's still at a height of about 3 meters. And we sit up there like little chicks, waiting to be fed this communist propaganda. There's an eagle sitting on top, giving us something to eat. And you sit there, stretch out your tongue, your neck, and watch. Heaven forbid you close your eyes, because an officer walks around checking who's sleeping and who's not. If not an officer, then a sergeant. If not a sergeant, then foreman. Heaven forbid you fall asleep. Everyone takes advantage of this. It turns out you can sleep with your eyes open.
Did the military have a positive impact on the person?
Regardless of what the army says, resilience, of course, was there. Resilience in the sense of not taking many things directly to the heart because it becomes a bit thick-skinned. Thick-skinned to everything, even to the cold. Becoming thick-skinned at temperatures like -40, -50 Celsius degree. And even in that, you don't pay attention. Well, how can you react to being taken? For example, I'm sitting here in a shirt now, but imagine wearing a long shirt, like a woolen one, with a tank top underneath, and on top, a fabric jacket. Take these 20 people, put them on the cargo bed in a 30-degree frost. drive them to the city. Not for long, about 50 minutes of driving, in a 30-degree frost, in the wind, in the cargo bed, there. Load up with frozen meat placed at the bottom of the cargo bed by the truck, and stuff us in there from above, these 20 people. How do you even understand this? Who are we, humans or cattle? And we are on a frozen block of meat at minus 30, undressed, went back these 50 minutes. How is this even possible? I'm just reproducing it now. Take any 18 to 20-year-old young person. No one would endure this kind of treatment. And this still breaks, it undermines everything, both in terms of health and in terms of the person himself. Placed in conditions that are absolutely inhumane. Previously, only prisoners were placed there. 100 years ago, it was called the Siberian Tract. It sounds terrible, Siberian Tract. People went there. Initially, they walked on foot, prisoners in chains. The ultimate goal, the final destination for all the prisoners was the place where I served. And what did I do at the age of 18 to 19 to end up in these conditions? Even a car would stop there. If it stands for an hour, its tires become square. So, what guys? I still have to do something here. The car stopped. It can't stay idle for more than 20 minutes. If you don't start an engine within 20-30 minutes, that's it. You are in big trouble because you have no more than an hour to reach the nearest source of warmth. Otherwise, you'll freeze. Nobody knows about this danger. You might sit down, warm up, and feel the pull towards drowsiness. Yet, you don't sense the danger. You're not actually warming up. In reality, you're just freezing. And it seems like you're getting warm. And you doze off. In reality, you're dying. They'll shake you immediately and thrust warmth upon you. I had a similar situation. We ventured out in that cold. Fortunately, we hadn't gone far, maybe 1 or 5 kilometers. Well, 5 kilometers of such freezing is already enough. And the car stalled. He tries to start it with the starter. It didn't start. Imagine his expression. He was a bit bewildered, and he looked at me with eyes like that, those eyes. And he says with those eyes, we have 20-30 minutes. I ask, what do you mean? He says, either drain the water and leave, or we need to start, or we'll freeze. At that point, I started getting nervous. I told him straight up, what have you gotten us into? Hurry up and start the car. And he, out of fear, was panicking. He was scared because it was so cold behind the cabins, maybe minus 40, 50. By the way, officers always hid thermometers, so you wouldn't know how cold it was. You'd ask, how cold is it? And he'd say, cold. You tell him, okay, it's cold, but give me a number. How many degrees below zero? Don't be a smartass. That's the whole response. Don't be a smartass. And how cold was it? Maybe it was minus 50. I remember that feeling when you step outside, and it feels like there's a bell ringing, a ringing from the cold. Because when you take a thin piece of metal, like a spanner wrench, it takes about 10 minutes. You hit it against something, and it just breaks like ice. Returning to that situation, fortunately, the car started. When it started, both of us were relieved, and we just began to rejoice in life. We turned around, came back those 5 kilometers, and I told myself I wouldn't go anywhere beyond those 5 kilometers.
How did people react to the army, and how did the army influence them?
The Soviet army aimed to break one's spirit. I don't know, but for example, my most vivid cases forced me to experience it. I had such a good relationship with him. He was a nice guy. And one day, I don't understand how it happened, he just went mad. There was nothing. He just snapped, and it all happened. He was fine when he went to sleep, but he woke up not okay. How was that possible? Later, I thought, maybe everyone's psyche is wired differently. As a person, you can let things slide. But he couldn't. He served only for how long? Maybe a month or 2, 3. And then he broke down. Out of the blue. What broke him? Being in the army or the environment. Maybe there was something after all. I don't know. I tried to investigate or inquire. I never got to the bottom of it, really. That's how it happened, as I was told. Then his mom came. His parents came with his dad. He didn't recognize them. He was already in a psychiatric hospital, and the guys who saw it, they saw how he greeted them. He just didn't recognize them. I had a friend. Indeed, if the previous guy was an acquaintance and we somehow interacted with him, that's it. We talked, that's all. But this one was a friend, a true friend. I heard his story from others. I was told that when he joined the battalion where I served, others started tormenting him. Not just 1 or 2, but 80 people. 80 people. They bullied him for 3 months, and he didn't break. He fought them all. Maybe he could have beaten 1 or 2, but they were piling on him. 10, maybe even 20 people. What chance did he have against 10 or 20? They beat him with the whole crowd, and he walked around battered for 3 months. And this continued. Someone, maybe from our unit, or the neighboring one, a kilometer or 2 away, said that your brother is being tormented there. He doesn't break. He doesn't humiliate himself. He fights every day. 5 people came to talk, to sort it out. And immediately there were about 8 of them, all surrounding these 5 people. Those 5 asked, "What's going on? You will never break him. You see, it's been 3 months. You torment him every day. Do you want to kill him? Then kill him now. You will not break him. With his demeanor, he conveyed that he would fight to the end. And then words escalated into a confrontation. They started provoking these 5 people. They began pushing them away to create an opening for the crowd to attack again, even to pass through those 5. But one of 5 knew what he would do. He simply grabbed a crowbar and struck one of the crowd. He killed him instantly. The fight was supposed to happen. But before it started, it was over. No one expected such an end. They killed a person, literally within 2 minutes, with a crowbar. And that's it. Confrontation started, and these were officers, but it was too late when the officers arrived. Then the prosecutor got involved, a special unit, the military KGB. They started investigating it as an interethnic conflict because 800 people were of one nationality, and these 5 plus 1 were of another. It was a Caucasian against Russian. In the end, breaking a person achieved nothing. Breaking a person achieved nothing. They buried him, or maybe not, they sent him home in a zinc coffin. The one who killed, they arrested him, gave him a long sentence, and it all ended. But after that incident, the one who survived and had nothing to do with it, no one touched him. All 80 or 100 people just avoided him. Someone had to die for them to interact normally, not to break a person. Why did they need to do that?
Why didn't officers intervene in this?
They pretended that nothing was happening because all the officers were Russian. Those who tormented him were also Russian. They just turned a blind eye. Well, he's some black-assed guy. He suffers, but officers let him suffer. That's how they treated it. This was allowed during Soviet time. That's how the service was. That's how it was, serving the Soviet Union and all the lies, all the propaganda. We are the strongest. We are the most powerful. Nobody will defeat us. We have the biggest army in the world. The most foolish thing. Here I am. From the perspective of today, looking back there, I'll say it was the most foolish army. Well, a large part of it, 80%, the rest, those who may have served in Afghanistan or in the airborne forces. There may be, of course, other guys. Вот такое вот получилось кино.